The Somalian pirates. Who are they? It is of no question that you've heard of the Somalian pirates and how bad they are. But wasn't the entire story? Is there more to this than we are told? What the West rarely explains to the world and its own citizens is that the rise of Somali piracy did not begin with greed or lawlessness. It began with collapse, exploitation, and survival. In 1991, the government of Somalia fell apart. With no central authority, no navy, and no coast guard, nearly 9 million people were left exposed to famine, poverty, and foreign abuse. Into that vacuum stepped powerful interests from outside Africa. Almost immediately, mysterious foreign vessels, many traced back to Europe, began appearing off the Somali coast. These ships were not there to help. They were dumping toxic and nuclear waste into Somali waters, taking advantage of the fact that there was no government to stop them. Barrels containing hazardous materials were pushed into the ocean, turning Somalia's seas into a dumping ground for waste that Western countries did not want to handle legally or expensively at home. Soon, coastal communities began to suffer. Fishermen and their families reported unexplained skin rashes, nausea, respiratory problems, and a rise in birth defects. The sea, once their source of food and life, had become a source of sickness. The situation grew worse after the 2004 to 2005 Indian Ocean tsunami, when hundreds of buried or leaking waste barrels were washed onto Somali shores. People were directly exposed. Cases consistent with radiation poisoning were reported, and more than 300 people died. Investigations later linked much of this waste to European hospitals and industrial facilities, with disposal allegedly outsourced through criminal networks, including elements connected to the Italian mafia, because it was cheaper than safe disposal. At the same time, another form of theft was happening, this one visible every day. Large foreign fishing trawlers from Europe and Asia began illegally harvesting Somalia's rich fishing grounds. These fleets had already exhausted fish stocks in their own waters through overfishing, so they moved to Somalia's unprotected seas. Every year, an estimated $300 million worth of tuna, shrimp, lobster, and other seafood was taken illegally. Somali fishermen, using small wooden boats and basic nets, could not compete. Their livelihoods collapsed. Hunger followed. For coastal communities, this was not just environmental crime, it was economic warfare. With no state to defend them, Somali fishermen organized themselves. They armed small speedboats not to attack global trade, but to confront illegal dumpers and trawlers. Their initial goal was simple: stop the theft or charge fines to deter it. They called themselves the Volunteer Coast Guard of Somalia. To them, this was self-defense, not piracy. Surveys and local accounts at the time showed that up to 70% of Somalis supported these actions, seeing them as a form of national defense rather than criminal behavior. In a country without a navy, these men believed they were protecting their waters the only way they could. Over time, as Somalia remained unstable and poverty deepened, this defensive movement was corrupted. Criminal networks became involved, hijackings expanded beyond fishing vessels, and ransom-taking turned piracy into a business. That is the version the world focused on and condemned without fully acknowledging how it began. Today, the word Somali pirate is often used as a symbol of chaos and criminality. But stripped of context, it hides an uncomfortable truth. Piracy in Somalia was born from foreign exploitation, environmental crime, and global indifference. It was not created in isolation, it was a reaction. To understand Somali piracy honestly, one must ask not only who the pirates were, but also what was done to Somalia when no one was watching.
Ayasedwa kulimba ntima zochititsa mantae